Hi, Johnny McCann from Stan James. Welcome to a preview of the Premier League of Darts. 15 weeks, every Thursday night. They will never be the same Thursday nights from now on. I must say it is one of the televisual feasts of the year for me. I really think it's fantastic. It begins in the O2 Arena, I think in front of 11,000, talking to the PDC guys, talking to Rod Haddington at the weekend, 11,000 spectators, and then it goes, I think, to Bournemouth next week, then Belfast, Manchester, and go over the 15 weeks. And I really do think it'll be one. Remember, Phil Taylor didn't win it last year. He was beaten by Mervyn King in the semi-finals when they got down to the last four. But what can we look forward to? First of all, the format. Similar, of course, it's a best of 16 legs. It is the best of 14 legs, rather, the first 2-8. The first top six in the world are playing, of course. Phil Taylor, Raymond Van Barneveld 1-2, James Wade 3, Mervyn King 4, Terry Jenkins 5, and Ronnie Baxter, surprisingly for some, is 6, and as a result he gets automatic. I think if you've ever got to a wild card situation, I think it's fair to say Ronnie Baxter wouldn't have got in if the PDC maybe have had their time again. Maybe they'd have liked 3 wild cards, but the top 6 go in. As of right, 7 in the world was Adrian Lewis. He had to be given a wild card. Number 8 in the world was Colin Lloyd. A bit miffed, and you would be as well. This is a massive opportunity for £120,000 to the winner, but Colin was not given the second wild card to make. That went to Simon Whitlock of Australia. Remember, of course, he was beaten finalist in the world. That's one of the things as well. This year will be televised live in Australia for the first time. It's going to an X number of countries. It's going to Russia live. It's going to Romania. And again, I'm talking to Rod Haddington the weekend. It really is a massive, massive event. And it starts on Thursday night. And we at Stan James, we are the broadcast sponsors as well. So when you go to a break, don't watch the cup of tea, don't make a cup of tea, but do have a look at our new logo and our break bumpers, and let us know what you think. This is a new rebranding of Stan James, and we are using the catalyst is the Premier League of Darts that we are the broadcast sponsors with Sky Sports for. But let's get down to the action. I did mention then at the weekend that I was talking to a couple of the PDC lads, but of course here in Gibraltar we did have the second Stan James Eddie Cox Memorial Tournament on Saturday, £6,000 to the winner. That winner was Colin Lloyd. Maybe a little bit of a dig there at the PDC. Lloydie won it. He beat Wayne Jones in the semi-final, and he was in outstanding form. Just a couple of little snippets from that. One of the quarter-finals was Mervyn King beat Adrian Lewis 6-5. He was then beaten in the semi-final by Lloydie on the Saturday, but both of those players were in good form. James Wade beaten semi-finalist once, beaten quarter-finalist once. He was in very, very good form as well. Just a bit double 18 for a 9-darter as well. And on the Sunday, competition was won £6,000 again to the winner. That was Dennis Ovens, who beat Gary Anderson 6-5. Anderson had been absolutely sublime all the way through. I think he was 6-3 in one of his in the semi-final. Other than that, nobody. Robert Thornton had said, Mark Dudbridge, they hadn't got more than one leg against him, but once again it went to the spotlight, once it went again to the TV cameras, and I was commentating for local television. Anderson again fell short, and that might be something we have to pick up going through the Premier League of Darts, the year of darts. That Gary Anderson, will he fulfil his extraordinary potential? His scoring was amazing, 8 180s and a 161 finish in the semi-final. But let's just look at week 1 highlights of the win. Who'll score most 180s? I think Adrian Lewis is 7-2. I think that we know this game. I think we know the game against Mervyn King will be tight. It would be surprised if anyone ran away with this. And if somebody did run away with it, I think it'd be Lewis. And I think Lewis is 7-2. We bet on most 180s during the night. 7-2 Adrian Lewis, 9-2 Phil. Phil pleased Simon Whitlock in the last one up, and of course Phil, who beat Simon in the World Championship final. 9-2 also for James Wade. Simon Whitlock's a 9-2 shot high scorer. Simon, of course, 5's Barney, 6's Terry Jenkins, Mervyn 12-1, and Ronnie Baxter 20-1. It would just be Lewis for me. A big Wade fan. I think Wade will have a massive Premier League of Darts, but if I was having a bet in this, and I'm going to have one bet at least in the Premier League of Darts, and I'll come to that later, but if I was a recommendation, Adrian Lewis. I think King and Lewis most 180s as well, that rather than Whitlock and Taylor 9-4 also, and 9-4 Barneveld and Wade. Not convinced Barneveld will bring his A game to the O2 Arena at this stage. May take Barney a couple of weeks to get into that. That's why I think There might be a slight hint what my bet of the week will be later. 4-1 Terry Jenkins and Ronnie Baxter. The lottery, who will the match highest checkout. I think that's a bit of a lottery. These this standard, anyone can make a 170 checkout, and total 180s. I think a fascinating market. This 8-11 under 24.5. And over 24.5 even money. I'd be certainly a player of the even. In the outright market, Taylor 1-3. Remember, he didn't win in 209. Mert beat him in the semi-finals, but Taylor is the man still. Let's get it right. It's all right having these floor tournaments and playing well, but when you go head to head with the power, that's something different. And of course, Paul Nicholson, Paul Nicholson acquainted himself very well here in Gibraltar. He might look at a bad dude, but he's a smashing lad as well, and I think he's dedicated to darts, and he's somebody else who's going to have a very, very big 2010. The two I'd put up against them are Wade 15-2 and Lewis 16-1. The dangers, Lewis of course have got an appalling record against Taylor in head to head, but if there's one person who can stand up at that hockey and go head to head, it used to be Barney, it's not anymore, it's Wade at 15-2. Ronnie Baxter this was my second bet, but this is not my bet from week one, this is my bet of my recommendation. Ronnie Baxter to finish bottom of the table, 11-8. There's no slight on Ronnie. This is a very, very elevated, august company he's in. I just think he's the worst player of the 8. Of interest, and Whitlock would be the sort of danger, just in case he doesn't react. He almost has a bounce factor to that wonderful performance in the world title. But Baxter 11-8 really does make a lot of appeal to me. That would be my one bet for the outright tournament. Again, recommendations maybe have a bit of possibly on Wade 15-2 and Lewis 16s, but Baxter at that price. But the bet of the week in the first week has got to be James Wade at 11-10 against Barneveld 6-4 in the tie 7-2. This was Wade at the weekend. As you say, he scored very heavily, just missed that double 18 rather for his 9 darter here, and I know he was beaten by Dennis Ovens in one of the sets. He was beaten by Wayne Jones in the semi-final on Saturday, but I wouldn't take that against it. I think this is a new dedicated James Wade, and he's the one person to me who's now a threat. Barney only came back from holiday, being away since the Worlds last Monday. It would be 10 days since going up to the O2 Arena, but I just don't think he will be prepared as well as others, and I think it might take Barney a couple of weeks to acclimatise. Now is why I think James Wade 11-10 with our good selves stand James. I think that is the bet of week one. Ronnie Baxter 15-8 against Terry Jenkins. I fancy Jenkins there. Ronnie Baxter, neither of them acquainted themselves particularly well last weekend, but as I say, that King, fascinating race. 5-4 King against Lewis, 5-4 with the tie at 7-2. You pick it. It would just be Lewis to get his revenge for the Stan James Eddie Cox Memorial. But my bets, one for the tournament at 11-8 for Ronnie Baxter to finish bottom of the table, and also my bet for week one is James Wade at 11-10 to beat Raymond van Barneveld. Be lucky, game on.